Another week, another crazy week in the NFL. I don't know if somebody had accused me of ducking, had accused me of like I was swerving and I was avoiding doing this podcast just because of one of my favorite team being a bucket of ass on Sunday. But hey, that's whatever. I'm here. How are you, Cheevers?
That was elite getting your words out first right there. I will commend your efforts. this man's this man's text me because we have a little bit of a scheduling issue this week, and he's just like, "Hey man, I don't think I can make it." And now it's just like, "Oh, your team goes out there and embarrasses themselves, and all of a sudden you're too busy." You maybe come on here and talk about the Bengals when their defense was down horrendous, but the second a team is forcibly trying to score on you with one of their offensive linemen, I can't make it, y'all.
That was sad. That was not a fun. I had been stopped watching by that time because I wanted to protect my peace. I didn't need there was no reason for me to continue watching that game. They didn't even score a touchdown. Brandon Aubrey, again, being the best player on our team, continues to do such things.
That might have been the best thing you did all weekend because, like, when I was watching it, it was on that first when they ran that like hook and ladder shit design to Penei Sewell that got called back. That was wild.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, they is out here clowning y'all. And you're like, oh, I left. You're like, oh, man. That's elite. That's elite protecting your mental state right there.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, wait a second. I totally forgot to do something to get out of the way. And welcome, everyone, to the 7th volume of Until the Final Whistle. Shout out. It's your boy, Solo Nolo Green.
My name's Cheevers, a.k.a. Heel, as I've been known recently.
I do see your quite heel tactics there and heel name. I saw it. I was like, oh, it got a smile out of me. I was like, this guy, look at him. But yes, we have just went into talking about my team, and we're going to continue talking about my team because they decided that they don't want to win at home. They don't know what a home win feels like. Haven't had one since last year.
Bro, did you see? I don't remember the number. It's big, but like, did you see the amount of points that the Cowboys have allowed at home over the past like 4 home games, including the playoffs?
It's like 150 something, I think.
Like, horrendous.
It is. It's not good. There's nothing good about it. A complete failure on every level of that. Everyone gets blamed. The front office gets blamed for not doing absolutely anything during free agency. Also, not using good general managing skills and signing your guys that you knew you're going to sign anyway early so you can have money to fix holes in the roster and shit. But no, my organization decides that they rather just be in the headlines rather than be a legit football operation. They do good things and then do the absolute wrong things followed behind it. And the hardest thing we do, the hardest thing it is to do, we do right, and that's drafting players. We get great draft players. I can't hate on their draft choices for real. But then they go out here and not want to do the things that need to be done to succeed. But go ahead, my bad.
In the headlines, y'all decided to be because, like, not only was it just a horrendous ass beating, but it was also somebody's birthday yesterday, apparently.
He was looking sad.
Bro, they came in there and out physicaled y'all so bad. Like, it was one of those situations where, like, like how you'll get mad when something's going wrong in a football game and you'll like be like, dude, this is so over. But it's usually not. Like, I remember when y'all played Baltimore a few weeks ago and you somewhat got back into it. You made it a little more interesting. But on this one, it was just like There was an interception or a fumble that Dak threw, or he threw and somebody fumbled. I can't remember. But the man went to the sideline, and he had that look in his eyes that was just like, "I'm done, bro. Like, fuck this." And then
that
the
was
next
the
drive,
second
Cooper Rush
interception.
went in, and it's just like, yo, they're done. And then we alluded to it earlier. They're out here running plays specifically designed to get an offensive lineman to score a touchdown because of the controversy from last year. So I'm like, man, not only are they whooping your ass, but they don't even respect y'all. And this is in Dallas. It's not like it's in Detroit.
So I remember last week when you were like, I didn't give my team enough credit for going into Pittsburgh and winning. There's a reason I didn't give my team enough credit, because I knew that nothing was different. They just could beat Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh is offensively inept. So if you are offensively inept, then sure, my defense can stop you with 6 starters down. They can make it so it's a sloppy game. And my quarterback decided that he wanted to not have a back-breaking interception in the final minutes. And I will always defend Dak. I still think Dak is a top 10 quarterback. It's just, hey man, they don't give him the help that he should have. For one thing, his best weapon is CeeDee Lamb, and then a bunch of other offensive weapons. They don't have a running back for real. They don't have a second option, even though people want to say it's Tolbert, but Tolbert, he's still a young player. He's not he's not showing up when he needs to all the time as consistently as we would like. Brandon Cooks is hurt. Hey, it's a sad state of affairs. And let's not talk about this defense that gave up 7 touchdowns on Sunday. And just to clarify things, we are recording this during Monday Night Football because we scheduling conflicts, and it's all good. So we'll probably drop this, I guess, tomorrow or Wednesday, whichever day. We might keep the same day, but we're definitely recording this a day earlier.
It's all good. There ain't nothing to talk about the Jets anymore.
I know it's the Jets and the Bills. But it's the battle. It's the battle for first place in the AL. That's an AL on the American East.
Don't really care about that. Let's continue talking about Dallas because, I wanted to talk about how a lot of people are starting to really look at it for what it is, and Jerry Jones is officially what's in the way of that football team. We got to look at the roster construction a little bit about how you came into the season with literally no run game, and I understand that Dowdle has looked okay, but he hasn't really looked like a starting running back. He's looked good, but not like a starting running back. And Zeke's definitely past his prime. And then you combat that with the fact that you did the right thing. You got CeeDee Lamb as money. We can argue about too late all we want, but at the same time, plan B is what, Tolbert and Brandon Cooks. So you're like, all right. And then like tight end's a crapshoot, so I can't give you too much grief on that one.
Oh, Jake Ferguson's actually a good
construction.
He's actually a good tight end. The offensive line construction, we have Zach Martin, who's the best guard in the NFL, and then Tyler Smith, who's also going to be a very good guard and can play left tackle. But we have a rookie left tackle and a rookie center, I believe. So yeah.
And I mean, like that's just the nature of the sport. Sometimes it's going to happen. And then you compound all of that and build this cathedral stadium, which is beautiful. I've been there. I'll give them that. But at the same time, the glare that your team has to play against is hilariously inept. Like, why is the glare that bad?
I guess they thought, I don't know why they did it, bro. I understand when they did it and when they had it in Texas Stadium and it wasn't, and they had that joint like at the top where God can see his favorite team play, as they like to say. But yeah, it doesn't work as well when it's in your face.
Just point the stadium in a different direction. We don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, that would have been smart. But hey, yeah, I'm trying. It's just a clown show at the moment, and it's going to be a clown show, and it's going to continue being that way. And I would love for them to improve. But I see my schedule for the next few games, and that shit is not fun. Not at all. Luckily, we have a bye this week. But the next 6 teams are the 49ers, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Texans, the Commanders, and the Giants. And the only team in there that I'm like saying that we probably better than are the Giants. Everybody else, I'm looking at them like, ooh, buddy, this might not go well.
I will give you that you're also better than the Eagles. I do still think Dallas, as much as they looked like absolute dog piss yesterday, is the second best team in that division. That's really not saying a lot these days, but especially with how crazy good the NFC North has been this year. But I want to move to the Eagles because they had a interesting weekend.
Also,
I've never seen a team pick up a win, and you come out of that win feeling lost and confused.
Yeah, they that was interesting. Like, if you just looked at it from like a stat perspective of how many games Sirianni has won and whatnot, you would think that he's not that. I mean, he's not that bad of a coach if you just go through it without context, with absolutely no context, just looking at the numbers like that. But the moment you put in context of everything, it is bad. So bad. And then this man had the audacity to use his children as human shields because he didn't want to deal with the questions.
He's sorry. So, like, if we're really going to look at how that game turned out, Cleveland is awful, right? Deshaun Watson looks fucking terrible. So you're looking at a game that a team with the aspirations of Philadelphia and the roster they have created should be able to kind of roll. And I understand like the anything can happen mentality of the NFL, but at the same time, if AJ Brown did not return to the lineup, they didn't win in that game yesterday. AJ Brown kind of carried some of them drives, and especially that one touchdown drive. And then you got the end of the game. I don't know when it was in the game actually, but he's turned around arguing with random fans in the stands about booing. And I'm like, bro, you took a job in Philadelphia. Like,
I'm like, why are you out here arguing with the fans? Like, that's not your job. That's
bro,
not what
like
you should be doing.
Those are the kind of fans you kind of want to stay on your side.
Yeah. Hey man, as much as I dislike Philadelphia teams and their fans, they are some of the best fans in the league. At least support if they are on your side.
They're definitely
terrible.
They're definitely a ride or die kind of group, but like when they turn on you, they turn on you quick. And
I can't wait.
The shenanigans and antics to do that and then go into your presser with your kids so they don't ask you about it is cowardice, which leads me to the question I wanted to do, and that's why we talked about the Cowboys and the Eagles first. Between the two of your coaches, Sirianni and McCaffrey, who is going to get the axe first? Because I don't think either of them gets it during the season. So I think it's going to be a race. And I don't think they're both going to get fired Black Monday, but I don't think they'll both survive the week.
Oh, Mike McCarthy's gone. I think the moment that the shit is over, like the season is over, Jerry's going to be like, bye, bro. Got to go.
So if you had
Nick Sirianni's gone too, but
all right, so let's change it up
first.
Which one of them doesn't survive the season? Unless it's both of them.
Oh, I think they both technically survived the season, even though I still think they should fire Nick Sirianni right now because they have someone who could step in and be a head coach with Vic Fangio. But the Cowboys, if you fire Mike McCarthy, we don't really. Mike Zimmer is the best one, but he's already taken up for the defense. That's not good. So do you really need him to have more responsibility?
Yeah, I guess you're looking at it in a situation where Philly's probably the only one that kind of has an interim that could step up for right now. Dallas is definitely and most likely going to package a proposal to head coach interviews and be like, hey, we got a quarterback and wide receiver already. You can kind of come in and build around those two. There's some young defensive guys that are probably going to get locked down, and you could build on that. But Philadelphia is like, man, I remember the whole offseason when they got Saquon, everyone was like, yo, they're about to be crazy. And you see like these cracks of a lot of that leadership they lost in some veteran players that had retired out, like a Jason Kelce. And it's like, dude, something's like the vibe. It's the same thing people talk about with the Bengals because of all like the contract stuff. People like just the vibes are off. And it's like, I think it's affecting the team.
I mean, if you take Jason Kelce's word for it, the vibe's been off since they lost the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl. He said even when they were like 9-1 or 8-1, whatever it was, they were still just thinking about when they lost. That's all they did last year was just think about how they lost the Super Bowl. And I can only imagine it just intensifying when they lost pretty much like 7 out of 8 at the end of the season last year.
It was basically a collapse.
Yeah, it was a hell of a collapse. I ain't seen a collapse that big. It's been a while. And I've seen some collapses. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm used to it.
Same.
Yeah.
We're gonna stick with the NFC East. And Sunday Night Football, your boy got himself a W. It wasn't pretty, but we had one of those games where I'm not going to apologize to the neutral because we've talked a few weeks about how like the Bengals games recently have been very fun to watch for neutrals, but awful for the people involved. And this is one of those ones that it wasn't really good for me and it wasn't good for anybody else, but I got the W, so I'm not apologizing. And I hate hearing all these complaints about why is this the Sunday Night Football game? Why is this the Sunday Night Football game? I'll tell you why it's the Sunday Night Football game. It's because the New York Giants are from New York. It's not hard to figure out. They're going to get primetime games regardless of how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's New York.
Let them know.
It's the same reason the Bears get on there. And I'm not trying to throw the Bears under the bus because a buddy of mine will be like, why do you keep trying to throw my team under the bus when you don't need to? But I want to talk more about the sneaky speed of my quarterback. Did you see my man's run?
The sneaky speed. Yo, I was on the phone when that was happening. And I just looked up and it was just an open field of nobody around him. And I was like, wow, he's running really far for someone that should have a whole bunch of eyes on him.
It was crazy, man. It was one of those ones where the pass protection was pretty much what you want. So the tackles took the edges real deep. So everything was like wide around them and it cleared the middle. And it was stacked to the left. And I think the tight end even came out and dragged to the left. So like everything's on the left. And the safety was just like, okay, and followed what was going on. And it was like single high. And I'm talking about like Moses, Red Sea parted, like, yo. And my man took off, and I was just like, cool, it's going to be a first down. Because, like, I'm not going to, like, pretend that Joe Burrow has got the speed of some of those mobile quarterbacks we got nowadays. Mm-hmm. But he took off, and he was hugging and chugging, and he got there, and it was kind of funny because I'm just like, yeah. And it's hilariously our franchise's, like, longest touchdown run by a quarterback. I mean, like, that's probably
– what was it, 44, 47, something like that?
47.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man.
He just took off, and I know Jamar Chase and T. Higgins fantasy owners were hella upset, but
my man was out here running. I was like you said, like he came out of LSU. We knew he was like kind of like could move a little bit, but my man was gone. As soon as he saw that safety went. And turned his back. I was like, dog. I was looking like, why'd you move? You should have stayed there, bro. But hey,
he's like, I read the scout report. He don't got that speed.
Little did he know that he was out here, and that man Burrow smoked everybody.
The funniest part about it,
the
funniest part about it is people dug up. There was like an argument that him and Chase had when they kind of both were still active on Twitter. Well, I think Chase still is, but Burrow was talking about how he has that sneaky speed because Jamar Chase was trying to be like, Joe's out here at OTAs talking about he can run like 21 miles an hour or something. And he's like, I got that sneaky speed. The people dug all that up. We were all laughing about it. And then like you kind of wait for like the next gen stat people to put up their stuff. And they were like, yeah, he hit like 19.7 or something. And I was like, I mean, for a dude with
That's not
a knee
bad.
surgery and he was
man.
scooting. Now he's not Joe
Yeah.
Flacco fast, but he was scooting.
Ah, Joe, elite.
I love that man. He's
Elite
not
got
playing
himself
this
another.
weekend, though.
Elite got another window.
Yeah, but they already said it's the Trent Richardson show.
Oh, it's going back to the Trent Richardson show.
They said he's healthy,
man.
so they're making the change back.
Oh, don't worry, he'll get hurt again.
That poor guy.
He'll be right back. He might even get hurt the next game.
The crazy part about all those Joe Flacco games is like, I mean, it's kind of similar to when Richardson is playing. It's like Alec Pierce is going to get at least one deep bomb target.
Yeah. And shit, he get multiple. That shit is great.
Like him and Shaheed,
Joe,
like they get like 2 targets a game, and one of them's a bomb.
That man, Flacco don't be caring. He be like, he down there somewhere and just launch that bitch.
So we're going to continue our carousel around the NFC East and move to the game that everybody begged NBC to move their game to, but CBS was like, we're sending Tony Romo there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Battle of the Beltway.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're gonna talk about the game, but did you see what happened? Or like when they asked Lamar about Jaden Daniels?
No.
Yeah, he was they was like, oh, yo, man, what's like how you feel about him? And he's like, hey, man, his life said he's a good player, man. He just came up a little short, and then everyone just interpreted that as like, yeah, man, you ain't ready yet. You ain't be yet. One day you'll be Lamar Jackson. One day we'll get there, but I don't think he took. I know it was like that. It was just, you know how fans get. He's like,
yeah, it's like I don't understand why people always try to go this route. I was like, I don't think that's what Lamar means, but okay.
No, I don't think he meant that either. But I didn't mean I wasn't gonna laugh.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if the ways these athletes get locked in. I wouldn't be surprised if Lamar Jackson's not 100% like sure what Jaden Daniels has been doing other than like service level highlights and maybe some film because they were getting ready for the game.
Absolutely.
But the thing that I hate about it, and this is something that you don't have to deal with because you're not in the AFC North, is that team looks to have righted the early season struggles they had, and that was probably just down to growing pains, but they look scary.
Hey, they're basically what we said they were gonna be. Like, can you imagine? Like, you literally have to deal with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in a backfield. Just that's what you got to do. And then, and then Zay Flowers was out here. He loves seeing that Commander secondary because he ate.
Zay Flowers about to finish the season with like 1,500 yards and 2 touchdowns. He just gets hella yards, but then as soon as they get close, we all know what's happening because you're not going to stop it.
Nope. That's about to be Lamar's. That's about to be Derrick Henry. Might even be Eric. I'm about to say Eric. What's my man Andrews' name? Mark Andrews.
Speaking of Mark Andrews, he finally showed up this weekend.
He did. He did. It had been a bit before we had seen Mark Andrews at his old self doing his thing, but he definitely showed up when he needed to. And
shout out to Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, he got that touchdown? I couldn't tell him.
He dragged it.
Oh, that's good. I mean, he on my other fantasy teams I don't really care as much about, but they definitely easy win this week.
I'll talk about the Jets. I'll talk about the Jets for a second. I don't want anyone to get excited if they do pull this game out against the Bills that are kind of struggling right now. There's this thing in other sports called a new coach bump, and it's all just kind of adrenaline. They'll go right back to all the same problems. Don't let them trick you.
Did we record? Did Salah have a job when we recorded or not?
No, yeah, we dragged Salah in his firing. We did.
Okay, cool. I can't remember. I forgot. Yeah, man. I know he watching this game with hate in his eyes.
He's not watching this game. He's out somewhere with his feet kicked up. We done. Well, he's not done. But
oh yeah, he's about to go to somebody. He gonna be shit. He could be our defensive coordinator right now.
He might be your head coach next year.
I don't see that.
No, but he might be your D coordinator next year. That's
D coordinator. Yeah. Hey, man, he did a damn good job with that defense and the Jets and 49ers. So bring him on. We need it. We need all the help we can get. Um, but the Jets. So say they win this week, and then what are they? What are they like 3-3? I think. How far now that we are a little over a quarter of the season? How far do you see this going? Do you see them making the playoffs? Do you see them just being just outside?
I see them being frustratingly around 500 the whole year, and then they're going to be in that mix of teams that come into the final 2 weeks kind of fighting over that's probably 6 and 7 playoff seeds. They're the kind of team that we're probably going to have to get over to get up to the playoffs, because it's very evident that I think the division's gone if Cincinnati's turned a corner. But so we'll be fighting with like the Jets and San Diego, Los Angeles, one of those last spots.
Superchargers.
The Jets got way too many problems for me to like believe that just because they beat the Bills tonight they're back.
I'm with you. I don't personally see it in the cards for them. If they can make it, you know what? I take that back. No, I don't. Because I do stand by this. I think y'all will actually find some way to back into the playoffs even after your horrible start, because one side of the ball is playing great for the most part, and then you just got your defense. They got to at least do something. Like, y'all can't be ass the entire year, I hope.
They played all right last night. I mean, you're looking at a situation where a lot of the struggles we have are defensive line, and a lot of those guys have finally kind of come back from their injuries. Sheldon Rankins brought some desperately needed interior pressure last night, and we can argue all day on how much of it is Daniel Jones, but I don't think we should have to pay for those criticisms of the other team's quarterback. You got to play the schedule you got, and we're in kind of a soft part of the schedule right now statistically.
Mm-hmm.
So the hope is that they can get to the bye around 500 and then just get hot late in the year like they tend to do. But a team I do not think is going to make a playoff push, the London American Football Club.
Oh, you were with them? Oh, okay. I thought we was about to talk about the team that doesn't have a home game. Don't know what home games feel like.
Oh, the Chargers?
The other one.
Oh, the Raiders.
The Raiders.
I want to talk about the London American Football Club first.
Go for it. Get your shit off, man.
They went over there to have their home games finally, because Jacksonville is not their home. And I mean, Caleb Williams put the stomp on them boys.
That man got an interception. He threw one interception, and then he said, "I'm not messing up again today," and he went crazy.
You know what's crazy to me? So the Bears flew out Tuesday, right? Jacksonville was delayed because of Hurricane Milton, right? Mm-hmm. But what I don't understand is why they didn't just go early. So they got the stuff on, and they're talking about, oh, Jacksonville got delayed because of the hurricanes. They didn't really get in until Friday. And I'm like, why are you going into a game in a plus 5 hour time zone with like 1 day of prep, and then try to use the excuse of, oh, we just kept our normal schedule, so we'll be fine? It was very evident very quickly that one of those teams was ready and one was not. And the one that was ready was the one that went there Tuesday.
Yes. I guess you can say what they tried to do was, since they're going to be there for 2 weeks, because they're got to play there again, I guess they didn't want to be there as long as make their time shorter. But as you said, it would have been a lot better for them if they came in on Tuesday like their opponents, because you would have been there already and just done your thing and maybe actually been prepared and not look like inadequate in every way.
I'm not going to let them hide behind we didn't want to be there for 2 full weeks, because they get that scheduled back to back. From what I understand, I don't know how true this is, but the teams themselves get a little bit of say in these international games. I don't think they have to go there 2 weeks in a row if they don't want to. Because you remember, like, when they were talking about schedule creation algorithms, don't they typically ask teams, like, if you have an international game, like, do you want your bye after it or before it and that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I feel like they go out there 2 times a year on purpose because they're trying to corner that England market, and they're kind of seen as, like, the London team because they spend the most time over there and they go over there the most.
They do spend the most time there.
This is what they wanted to do. They should have known that one day is probably not enough time to get ready for a game in that time zone in a whole different country.
Went out there and got whooped.
And they can't fire, and they're not going to fire their boy in between 2 London games.
Nah, but they think, you know what they need to do? As soon as that second London game over, don't even let them get on the plane. Just be like, here's your papers, my boy. You make it there your own.
It's not even going to help them. Like,
no, of course not. They need an entire rebuild all over again. Sadly,
I hate so. We'll talk about homeless football club in a second because I kind of hate the world this has created. But like any team that needs to move, it should have always been Jacksonville, and they're still there. And like the city, I guess they attended okay, but like, why does Jacksonville have an NFL franchise?
Oh man, we just hate on Jacksonville. That's what we doing.
All the cities out there that should have an NFL franchise. I don't picture Jacksonville in my mind, and I get it because they needed a 32nd franchise at the time, or 30th, I think, at the time. No, 32nd, because they came back in. They came in when Houston came back, right? Or right around then?
No, Jacksonville got there when the Panthers were created.
Oh, the Browns came back when Houston came back. That's what.
Yes, you are correct.
Anyways,
they brought back the Cleveland Browns
to suffer.
Hey, man. Oh. Okay, so did you see how Max Crosby pushed this coach? Not the head coach, but another coach.
Yeah, I don't put as much into it as the internet does.
I wanted to because I want him to be traded to a good team.
Oh yeah, me too. But like at the same time, I just think that he's just a wound up dude.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I'm like, he's probably wound up and frustrated. I wouldn't put too much into it.
If I'm being honest, no, I don't think it's meant anything. He just came off the field. He still pushed his coach. One of his coaches kept him moving. I don't really see it. It's crazy.
It's got to be frustrating though. They got their ass beat by a team that did not look good.
Yeah, man. The Raiders just aren't good. And it's going to be just how it is. They're just not meant to be good.
The thing that annoys me is like, and Antonio Pierce probably doesn't deserve this kind of criticism this early in his head coaching career. But he came out there and was waffly about wanting to bench Gardner Minshew for like 2 weeks. Finally does it. And it's not like Aiden O'Connell looks any better. So it's like, bro, like, are you sure he gives you a better chance to win football games? Because, like, at least Gardner started a little bit in the NFL. Like, it might not be pretty, but he probably shouldn't ever be a starter.
I mean, Aiden O'Connell, they finished the season 4-3 on a 4-3 when he came in last year. So, I mean, they could just not be good and give Aiden O'Connell more time.
I don't know, man.
Even though he couldn't beat out Gardner Minshew at camp. So
seen a lot of quarterbacks go on insanity runs before the tape comes out. I mean, Ben DiNucci had like a friggin' 3-game stretch last year.
Ben DiNucci.
Cooper Rush had some of your fellow fans completely tricked into thinking he was the answer.
I have a cousin who still to this day thinks we should give Cooper Rush a shot at being the starter over Dak. He wanted to not pay Dak and let Cooper Rush be the quarterback. And then I just keep looking at him like, come on, dog, you can't be serious.
Those are the kind of football fans that make me really be like, I don't think you are prepared to be as bad as you think this team might get.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is he's a good backup. He does his job. And when Cooper Rush was the backup, we had a defense that was a lot better and could have created turnovers, got people off the field, and was damn good and did their job. This defense, no, that's not going to happen. There's too many holes, too many starters who aren't playing, and you have to produce points. And I know at the moment Dak Prescott and the offense hasn't really done it. I can tell you for damn sure Cooper Rush ain't about to do it. You think Cooper Rush about to do it with CeeDee Lamb and friends? That's it.
I just don't get it. There was a little bit of that last year with us. Burrow goes out for his wrist thing, and Browning has that like 3 or 4 game stretch where he's looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into those weird conversations like, is Burrow a system quarterback? You know, like, do we really want to lock ourselves into that money when Jake Browning can play just as well? And I'm like, I don't think you people deserve to have opinions, because what are we talking about? I love what Jake Browning came in and did for us. I thought it was very fun. I'm glad he parlayed it into a long-term kind of contract with us to be our backup. Mm-hmm. So it works out for everybody. But we need to stop acting like some of these backup guys are as good as the regular guys just because they have 1 or 2 games before that film comes out.
They are backups for a reason. There's a reason they're backups. Stop trying to think. The only backup that I want to see as a starter is Tyrod.
And that's just because of a local bias.
It is. And he also, I think he still can do it. I bet he'll do better with the Browns than Deshaun Watson would.
I want the listeners to know that me and Nolo Green
look at you calling me by the name. Look at you.
Are the same age as Tyrod Taylor and experienced Tyrod Taylor in high school. Me and Nolo Green went to 2 different schools, which you would consider the bottom of the barrel in our division.
Yes.
There's only one other school that is in that conversation with us, but it's Gloucester, and we're not talking about them. But I remember going to one of the games where Tyrod was playing, and I'm talking about like Alabama McNeese State level ass whoopings, like 60, 70 something to 7. And you only got that 7 because you like ran a kickback or something. And it's just like, bro, this. And then I watched him go to Tech, and being a Virginia fan, that's another one of those very lopsided rivalry games in college football.
Yeah, I know y'all did not beat him when he was there.
Beat her ass there. And then I remember going to a Bengals game in the Marvin Lewis era in like 2016 or 17, and we were playing Buffalo. And it was Tyrod Taylor was starting for, I don't remember who the quarterback before Josh Allen was, but he was hurt or something.
Was it the Peterman?
It was like that Peterman, Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of era.
Okay, I got you.
But Tyrod was starting, and we had lost that game. And I remember texting you, and I was like, I've seen this dude beat my team at every level of football. Yep. I'm tired of it.
I can't wait. I hope he becomes a head coach so he can give you another L.
I hope not. And if he does, I hope it's for a team I support. But like, shout out to Tyrod Taylor. He's a local legend.
Absolutely, that's our guy. I wish him always the best. That's him. Antoine Bethea. I saw also another local guy that
Colin Iverson.
Yes. Before our time, but yes.
Before, yes. All right. So,
if
you want to get all technical, Tyrod was like the only one we ever saw play. Well, I saw Vic play, but I was like young.
I saw Vic play, but I was also pretty young.
Parents took us to a game at Todd because they were like, this the news is talking about this kid, so we went to a game with Todd as we live close to it.
You
And
do
like,
live.
I didn't know.
Y'all
I
did
didn't know
live
what was
pretty close.
going on. I was a child.
You just watch it like I don't know what this is. I
I
know.
don't even think I watched the
but I don't know
game.
what this is. You were just there. I feel you was there for vibes, bro.
You know, you went to games at Todd. There would always be like a group of kids playing pickup under like one of the bleachers. It's probably over there when Vic was probably running up and down the sideline on people.
Killing them. Boy, it was nice.
Anyways,
and would you believe that he won't even the best quarterback in his own division?
Was that when it was Brooks?
Nah, you got the wrong one. Damn, I'm so mad that his name just came. I just blanked on his name, even though Allen Iverson was also a better quarterback than he was.
Oh, you talking about the kid from
Hampton?
Curry.
Ronald Curry.
Yeah.
I went through every name in my head. I was like, yo, I know this. I was like,
we'll get there eventually. There's like a sports camp named after him, isn't there?
Yeah. Ronald Curry, man. Number one. He would have been a GOAT if he went to a college that wasn't a basketball college because he wasn't for basketball.
Think of how many local legends from back home played for teams I just can't support. Like David Wright was a Met.
They got a win today. ain't that the only team that you can like somewhat cheer for now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was this thing that there was like one of those cheering. There was one of those cheering maps that came because I love Shohei Ohtani. I just can't root for the Dodgers, but like there was this rooting map that came out, and it was like cheering interest in the ALCS, and the whole country was the Guardians except for like Massachusetts. No, the whole country was the Guardians except for New York and Michigan for the Indians, not the Indians, the Tigers. And Bengals Twitter got a hold of it because like there's not a lot of love between Cincinnati and Cleveland.
There it.
And like a lot of like Bengals fans are of course Reds fans are probably from Kentucky or just Southern Ohio or Indiana. And we were just like, yeah, I don't think this map's right. Like I just don't see Kentucky being like, yeah, go Cleveland.
Yeah, no.
I can understand Ohio flipping, but like, I don't know about. They always joke that we're from Kentucky. We're not rooting for them. Anyways, we had some debuts this weekend.
We did. A couple of rookie quarterbacks
made and I think debuts. They both played well, losing games, but I think they still played well.
They played better than their counterparts did in their first games.
True. Yes. Drake May debuted for New England. They were kind of always chasing it, so I think that helped him unleash the playbook a little bit because they had to be chasing. So I think that helps. They had to. But he was kind of balling. He had that one pass where he dropped it in a teacup. And then Spencer Rattler, he was manageable. They were kind of never in it, but
yeah, he was winning. Nah, what you call it? Spencer Rattler and the Saints was winning for a little bit. They was winning probably. It was like still the second.
That game got hella lopsided very fast.
It did. When it got because it was like 20. They were up like 24-21, I think, and then it just got to 51 so fast.
We might have to get D-Mac on here to defend himself soon because, like, I heard takes that
what were the takes?
I heard takes that people were like, "You're starting to look at a situation because of how like things are kind of spiraling out of control for the Saints," and people are like, Carr's going to probably leave. Dennis Allen's probably going to get fired. So there are people that have takes that are like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if a certain team in Carolina overtook them for third place in the division.
Oh, wow. they out here believing in the Red Rocket? The Red Rifle?
I think it's more not believing in the Saints than it is believing in Carolina.
I mean, I get that, but it's Carolina, dog. No.
We're not going to act like the Red Rocket doesn't have them at least watchable.
Oh no, they're watchable. You see that meme where it's Bryce Young and him, and Bryce Young, it's just like Bryce Young's smiling. It's like when you know you about to get your job back. I was like, man, I can see it. I can see him going back to Bryce Young. I didn't think it was gonna happen at one point, but I can see it now. I think you are frozen, my friend. Because I don't see nothing. Or are I frozen? Either way, Bryce Young, I can see Bryce Young getting back in the saddles. And there he is. He's back.
That was weird. Everything went dark and scary.
I was sitting here, I was just like, oh, he's frozen. Oh, we see him. He'll get back.
I had black screens.
Oh yeah. Hey man, welcome back, man. You made it back from the abyss.
Welcome to episode 7 of Until the Final Whistle podcast.
Hey dog, see what happens? We bring up Bryce Young and your shit froze.
It was just like, nah, you can't have that take. I'm sorry.
You've gone too far.
I want to close this week, Laurel.
With what?
Let's talk about college for a second. I know we kind of focus on the NFL, but some interesting things are happening in college football to me.
Yes.
And I want to start with Oregon, Ohio State. And I want people to know that just because you are a fan of Cincinnati does not mean you are a Buckeye. I am not a Buckeye. Do not ever accuse me of being a Buckeye. Right?
My man, it's not. He said, no, I will not stand up being a Buckeye.
Ryan Day's record against top 5 teams is abysmal.
Is it? What
for
is
that
it?
Program? I think he's got 1 win in 6 now.
Okay, so I was only because I was gonna follow it up with that. He has a 875 winning percentage, the most wins percentage wise in college.
This is where I don't want to hear this nonsense. Ohio State has historically not scheduled big out of conference games.
Yeah,
they love to tune up with Maction, so they'll play your Akrons, your Ohios, your Toledos, and then they'll go through their Big Ten schedule where they are admittedly normally in the top 3 teams of that conference. Penn State always gets real hype and then goes in and loses to them, and it's a little bit funny. But their recent record against Michigan is really bad. The expansion of the Big Ten is looking like
3 years. 3? It's
been the last 3. I don't think he's beat Michigan.
Oh nah, that can't be true. I refuse to believe that. When
all I know is
leave.
I don't remember.
Hold on, man.
All I know is the point of all this was just to get to my initial joke is that he looks like a default created character skin in like The Sims. Like the man's beard looks like it's superimposed on the TV, like it's not actually on his face. And it like the TV just AI puts it on his face.
Mm. Oh man. So he has beaten them once. It was in 2019. Not since the pandemic has he defeated.
Not since the new transfer rules is Ryan Day be.
Like dog. He I mean, he probably would have lost. I mean, Michigan probably would have lost in 2020, but they ain't played a game. So, but yeah. 3 years in a row, he's lost to Michigan.
It's a program that I love to watch lose.
Question: if he loses to Michigan one more time, is Ryan Day gone?
No, because like you said, his winning percentage is damn near 900. I mean, I think Ryan Day will be safe unless they have a couple years of either not making or very early college football playoff exits.
Interesting, because I have seen many people say like he's on thin ice, at least because he can't keep losing to Michigan. Well, that's one school you can't keep losing to, especially 4 years in a row.
So this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting to me because a lot of the local rivalries in college football have been kind of killed by the new TV stuff. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of Ohio State people, and it's the same on the Michigan side, that is the only game that fucking matters. Like they don't care unless you're like playing for a national championship, they do not care about the Rose Bowl like they care about Ohio State, Michigan.
Agreed.
So for some of them, you could, if you go undefeated and lose to Michigan, the season was a failure.
It was.
Now, where I think it's going to get different, and it's going to kind of depend on how the schedule making goes now with our 20-something team conferences. Are they going to be rotating around the conference in like a schedule creator, or are they still going to play your normal rivalry games every year? Because, like, are they going to play Michigan every year? I don't know.
Oh, they're not getting rid of Michigan. That's a absolute. That'd be a farce.
Because then you're looking at like schedule bias. Like, why? This has been something that the SEC's dealt with a long time about how like SEC West teams and SEC East teams used to just never play each other. And it's just like, why are we trying to determine conference champions when like these teams just aren't playing each other because the conferences are too big?
Mm-hmm. I see where you're coming from, but I can tell you for one thing, that game never stopped.
I mean, it shouldn't just because of the money around it, but
forget shouldn't. It's not. I put everything I own on. They never stopped in that game. That is Michigan, Ohio State.
We've seen other, and it's not as big as Michigan, Ohio State, but we've seen other rivalries stop. Like, I remember how big of it, and this might just be because the company I work for is real big in West Virginia, but I remember that first year we got the West Virginia Pitt game back, and like the hype was real. And I was like, I can't believe they didn't play this for so long.
Big East, baby. That's the Big East.
The most important thing I wanted to talk about from the college football landscape, because it's something I saw. Army and Navy, I think, are both ranked.
I know they're both 5 and 6-0. 6-0, I think. I did not know they were both ranked.
We are looking at a situation, and I know it's a long time away from now, but we are looking at a situation in the 12-team playoff with both Army and Navy are in the American Athletic, where the Army-Navy game might legitimately send a team to the college football playoff.
Dog, there's a situation where Army and Navy play each other in the AAC championship game. And then they have to play each other again the next week. So we might get it twice.
This is a rivalry game that is almost it's just as important as like Ohio State, Michigan. Could you imagine?
They're both ranked.
Could you imagine?
Yo, what's up?
Could you imagine being the Army team that loses to Navy twice in 1 year?
Ooh.
You got to go back to West Point with that?
Ooh, that would hurt. That'd hurt, bro. And there's no way you can't even go in there with your head held high because you can't lose it up twice. What I really want, like, because I would love one of them to make it to the college football playoff, but I want like one of them wins and then the other one gets elevated to the college football playoff, and then they have to play each other again. And then when they have when they play each other
lose,
again,
they take them out.
Yeah, the revenge. I'll be theater, dog. I would love it, even though it'd be great if one of them made it. I would love to see one of them make it to the.
There was a little bit of a conversation about that last year when Air Force was kind of flying high because they're in the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
So Air Force was doing real crazy, and people were like, "Yo, I mean, if Air Force goes undefeated and wins the Mountain West, like, and like they would have never gave them one of the old college football playoff spots."
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about like your Air Force might go to like whatever the big bulls are now that aren't in the playoff. But I was just like, I mean, that's a conversation. This is the scenario they have created. If one of these teams in one of these little conferences goes undefeated and wins their conference championship, you kind of have to give them the 11 or 12 or 10 seed. This is what you've created.
Oh, a Power 5 school has to get picked. Do we know? I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. But yeah, this is some interesting times in college football. Interesting times. Vanderbilt beat Alabama, which is still outrageous.
They almost lost again to South Carolina, too.
Yeah, I saw the end of that game.
Should have
after
lost
you were
that
talking
game, to be
about it.
honest.
Shit, if South Carolina didn't have that busted coverage, that could have been it.
Some of these guys,
Can you
man.
imagine? Can you imagine back-to-back weeks of losses?
Saban would have gone out of retirement.
Nah, Saban won't come out.
He would have.
He would talk some shit.
They would have put Miss Terry up as coach of Alabama after that. And I'm like, we can't have this.
Oh man, shout out to Miss Terry. Shout out to Miss Terry. But yeah, man. Because I looked and they're definitely still ranked. I mean, they are ranked. Navy's 25 and Army's 23, I think.
And there's people out there that say
Yeah.
Navy. Is it Navy or Army? One of them's got like one of the best offenses in the league, in the sport.
I think it's Army. I think.
Oh yeah, one
No,
more guy.
it's It's Navy. It's
one
Navy.
more guy I want to shout out.
Who's that?
You seen how his name's Ashton Genty or Ashon Genty?
Oh, the one from Boise State?
You see how he lines up?
Yes.
Like he does not start from an athletic position. That makes him so much more cool.
Like, dog, he is. I love when it's a dominant running back just out here killing people. It's just beautiful to see, because watching a running back like break the will of the other team because they can't do anything about it is way better than watching a quarterback throw like 500 yards.
Yeah, there's something like primal about a running back just destroying somebody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's got to be tough.
Don't you ever look at like old like clips? I like looking back, like looking at like Reggie Bush, how he used to just murder people. They were so much fun. Such a good time.
I just begin like Jerome Bettis flashbacks and getting all sad.
I get that. He was wrecking shop for against your team for a bit. Just for a bit. But yeah, man. You got anything else to say before we get up out of here?
No, I just wanted y'all to know that I basically had to beg your mans to get on this week, so we didn't miss a week. He was trying to swerve hard.
I was trying to swerve. I just had something to do, and I said, "Yo, if I have nothing, if I can get it done, I will be here." This man acting like I'm trying to duck. I don't care. I'm a Cowboys fan, dog, and I'm a realistic one. I ain't one out here saying we win the Super Bowl every year. I know. I'm well aware of how inept my team is, and it's okay. It's fine.
Shout out to your bye week, though. Can't lose.
I love it. In fact, if we being 100% truthful, if we were to schedule it, if we were doing this on a regular scheduled day, there would have been no ducking. It would have been no considered a duck because I'd have been able to do it. Yeah. Boy. Exactly. But nah, it's all good. You can find me at Rally the Leaf on Twitter, Instagram. Follow the main pod page for the Black Guy Wrestling Pod at BGW Pod on both platforms.
You can find me on Twitter, whatever they call it now, by the tagline you see below. Point.
Yeah, that.
Where I be acting a heel for Mr. Nolo Green. Make sure you follow me.
All y'all ain't shit. Everybody but Chaz. Chaz cool. Chaz a real one. I fuck with Chaz. That's my guy.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
The rest of y'all is some marks, some ops. That's all y'all are. All y'all want to do is to see me not be happy, and I don't appreciate that. I thought we was friends.
I was like, I feel like I can fit in with this crew.
This is terrible. I don't like this shit. Oh, this is fucked up, but it's all good. But yeah, man. See you next week, week 8. I won't have a Cowboys game to worry about, so it's gonna be amazing.
I'll probably be mad about the Bengals losing again.
Who y'all play?
Cleveland.
Not the best record against Cleveland. Not the best record. So I hope y'all don't lose, but oof. But all right, folks. Holla.